Hi, welcome back to Therapy Designs. If you're new to this channel, my name is Kelly and this channel is all about creating print-on-demand designs using Canva. So if that is something that you're interested in, please do stick around. So in today's video, I'm going to be going over how to create this design right here. It says it's okay to be different. It's a really popular niche right now. It can be used in a lot of different categories, meaning you can, market it more towards just general kindness, or you could market it more towards Pride Month because I did make sort of a rainbow design. You could also market it towards Autism Awareness Month, and so I've seen this done a lot of different ways. But what we're gonna do is go over how to create this design, how to get sort of that wavy, groovy look to the text. And so if this is something that you are interested in learning about, please do stick around. So as always, we're just going to go ahead and start by pulling up a blank canvas. So if you're just logged on to Canva, you can go to create a design or custom size. Either way, we're going to do a custom size. So if you hit create a design, you can come down here to where it says custom size. I'm always going to design for 4500 by 5400 pixels. Keep in mind right here, you can select either pixels, inches, millimeters, centimeters. If you're designing for, print on demand shirts, I always design in pixels. If I was designing something for KDP, like book covers, then I would work more into inches or centimeters. So, but right now it is going to be pixels. I'm going to go ahead and go with 4500 by 5400 pixels and create a new design, and it is going to pull up my blank canvas. So here it is, my blank canvas. Now, as always, I like to design for black. I like to optimize for black, so it's just easier for me if I start with black as my background color. So I'm going to select my blank canvas, come to the top left hand corner where it says background color, and I'll start by selecting black. Now today we're going to go ahead and do a design that could be used for a lot of different things, including Autism Awareness Month, which is coming up next month. So it's definitely one we want to be working on. So this sub niche pretty much says it's okay to be different. And you will see this quote used in a lot of different ways. And obviously it can be used very broadly across different niches. But we're just going to go ahead and do a simple design here. And we're going to use some groovy text, little rainbow, make it nice and colorful, so it could be used for Autism Month, but again, it could be used for anything else that you want to use it for. So I'm going to start by just selecting some text. So I'm going to hit T on my keyboard, and that will pull up a text box. And from here, I'm just going to go ahead and type in what I want. I'm probably going to do this in 3 different lines. So the first line, I'm just going to put it's okay. Okay. And then I'm going to do these all in different text boxes. So next I'm going to click T again, pull up another text box. Next line is going to say to be. And then third, another text box is going to say different. So I have it's okay to be different, right? And I'm going to make these a little bit bigger so they're easier to work with by clicking on the corner and dragging it out so it's nice and big, filling the page, just so that I can easily see what I'm doing. Okay, so from here what I want to do is go ahead and pick a font. Now for this design I'm going to do something a little bit groovy. We're going to go ahead and put that kind of wave style to it. So let's go ahead and pick something like a nice groovy font. Now I already know what font I want, but just so that you can see, you can always search different font styles by coming up to where it says font. You can put in something like groovy and see what comes up, and you'll see there's a lot of different groovy style font designs that you can choose from. Lots of fun ones here. I already know the one that I like to use the most for this particular style is one called Nectarine. So if I just start by putting just neck, it should show up Nectarine right here. And it changed it right there. It's okay. It looks nice and cool. Down here, there's a box where I can click change all, and it will change all of my text to that style. So here I am. Now this is kind of cool. It makes it all look pretty uppercase, but you'll notice that this I is a little bit bigger than the T because it wasn't in fact uppercase. Here you've got an I that's a lowercase. If you want all of these to be the same in terms of uppercase and lowercase, and for this I'd like them to all be uppercase, I can click on any one of these boxes and I'll do it one at a time. And if I come to the top up here, you'll see a little a and a big A. If I click that, it's going to make it all uppercase. And I'll go ahead and do that with each of the boxes. By the way, if I clicked it again, it would make it all lowercase. So that's an easy way to go back and forth between uppercase and lowercase. So now I got this. I want it to, fill the page. And I want each of these lines to be around the same length. So they're going to be different size fonts to make this work. But I want them all to be pretty close to the same. Maybe not entirely, just because 2B is going to be really big. So maybe I make that a little bit smaller, center it, keep it nice and close. But again, they're all going to be different sizes just to make it kind of fill the page nicely. And I'm going to keep them close together in terms of the spacing. So something like that looks pretty good. It gives me enough space. There we go. And so from here, if I wanted it to all be white, I could go ahead and use this how it is, but I want to throw some colors on here. Lots of different ways that we could go with colors. So you'll see individual letters being colored, lines being colored. I could just take this whole thing and make it one color. I'm going to go ahead and change the colors letter by letter to give it sort of a nice rainbowy look. So let's go ahead. I'm just going to start with the I. So what you'll do is highlight just that one letter. So I'm starting with the I. I'm going to highlight that. I'm going to come up to text color, and then from here, let's go ahead and start with a reddish shade. And so I'm going to go ahead, pick whatever reddish shade I like. I don't want it to be too bright. Something that's going to be light that I can see pretty easily. So something like that might look good. And then I'm just going to move over to the next letter. And I'm just going to kind of repeat this process. So now I'm highlighting that T. Now an easy way to come up with different colors would be to go ahead back to the color I just used, which I can select here, and then go to plus, and then I can just slide this bar down, and it's just going to kind of change that color a little bit, and there you go. So I can do it like that, and that's an easy way to just sort of change colors but keep them similar. So now I would go up to the next little line. I'm going to slide it again just a little bit. It's going to make it a little bit lighter, and I'm going to just continue like that, getting sort of different shades here. Keep that kind of yellow. The next one's going to kind of go into a nice green shade, and so on and so forth. So let's make that a little green, and I can take any one of these and kind of make them lighter or darker as needed, but this is keeping them all about the same in terms of where it is in brightness and how much saturation versus how dark it is. And so this is keeping them all pretty close so that they look like they go together. So this is a nice easy way to do this. Again, I just keep sliding this bar down, and that's one way that you can get sort of a cool rainbowy color. And there's lots of different ways you could go with this, of course. This is just one way that I find that's really easy to get sort of that nice rainbowy color like that. Now I could go ahead on the second line and start over again with the red and have it kind of go through the way that does, or I could just pick up where this one left off, which I think might be cool to do it that way. So taking this T and just picking up at that blue where that one left off, and again, let's just slide over and pick it up there. And so that's a fun way to do it. Again, highlighting one letter at a time. Whoops. And there we go. And I'm just going to keep going. I'll try to do this pretty quick here for you. Purple, almost at the end here. That's a little pink. It gets very easy once I've finished the color bar here, because then I just go ahead and go right back up to the colors that I have already used. And in fact, I might just do that now because I'm already starting to look like I'm hitting that one there. So let's do this. Let's just kind of go back up to the colors that I just used, which would be, is that that one? No, it's pretty much this one. And from here, I can just select from here. So these are all the colors I used, and then I can just kind of go in order this way with all of the colors that I just used. And so real easy to do. Now it's nice and fast. And again, oops. Hardest part is just selecting one letter at a time when I do this and not accidentally highlighting the entire word here. And boom. Perfect. Okay, so that is how I can get these cool kind of rainbow letters. And so far, so good. I'm liking the way this looks. Once you have it pretty much the way you want, I'm going to go ahead and save this, because what I'm going to do is jump over to Photopea and create sort of a groovy style wave to the text. So from here, I have it titled up here. It says it's okay. It's always going to title it whatever you put in your first text box, so I can finish this up and put to be different if I want to. And I can go ahead and title it before, or straight, or flat, or however it is you want to organize your stuff. And then I come over to where it says share, down to where it says download. From here, I'm leaving it as a PNG. I'm leaving the size alone. I'm going to go ahead and select transparent background, and then I'm just going to download it. And so I give it a second, it's nice and downloaded, and then from here I can just jump right over to Photopea. If you haven't seen any of my recent videos, I've been using Photopea a lot for clipping masks. This time we're going to do something a little different. We won't do any clipping masks, but we'll go ahead and show you how we can do different like text effects in terms of curving the text, and so that's always fun. So if you just type Photopea into your browser, it should pull up a page that looks like this. Great thing about Photopea is that it's totally free. You don't have to log in or give any information at all. Literally, click Photopea in your browser. This should come up. From here, you can click Open from Computer right in the middle. It should pull up your downloads, and then from there, you can just go ahead and open what you just saved. It should be okay to be different, and so here it is. Now from here, we're going to go ahead and we're going to do some cool text effects. So I can come up to the top, you'll see we've got File, Edit, Image, Layer, Select, all of those. You're going to go to Edit, which is the second one. And down towards the bottom, a little bit more than halfway down, you'll see Transform. And so you'll go ahead to go Transform. And then from here, you're going to go ahead and there's all sorts of different things. You're going to put Warp. Okay, so what it's going to do is put this little checkered box around it, and so now we can warp it, and there's different ways that we can warp it. So now we're going to go back up to the top, and over here you'll see it says split and then style, and right now style is none, so it'll say none. You're going to click on that where it says none, and it's going to pull up different styles for you. Now the style that I'm going to use for this is going to be the wave style here, so that one looks pretty good, but you can play with these. So there's a lot of different ones here, and so you can definitely play with them and see what some of the different ones would look like. So for example, if I wanted to arc it, I mean obviously that's a lot, but that's the way that the arc would look. I can do a little arc, and that's just going to give it this little round bulge there, and so you can play with all of these to see what some of them would look like. But for this one, we're just going to go ahead and we're going to go to wave. And so here is my wave. Now you can make this wave as big or as small. So in terms of the intensity of the wave, by coming back up to the top, and here what you'll see is it'll say bend, and it's going to say 50%. So from here, what we can do is we can change this percentile to be more or less depending on how much we want this wave. Usually I want it to be a little bit less. Typically I'll do somewhere between 20 and 30%. It just depends on the design. So if I bring that one down, now it's at 40%. If I bring it down again, that's 34%. 34% looks pretty cool because I'm still getting that nice wave, but it makes it a little bit easier to read. It's not quite as dramatic. But again, you can always play with whatever you think looks best. I can make it very small and subtle. So that's pretty small, pretty subtle there at 22%. Like I said, usually between 22 and 30 looks pretty good. Sometimes it's hard to move that a little bit. So let's say I just want to go with this. This is 26% here, so let's do that. Now I'm just going to save it. I have to export it. So I'll come back up to the top left-hand corner. It says File. I click there. About halfway down, it says Export As, and select PNG. And that is really all that I needed Photopea for. It really was that quick and easy. It's going to pull up this box here. It's already titled with "It's okay to be different." It's still PNG, still 4500 by 5400 pixels. All I have to do is click Save. It will now save my design, and I'm going to just jump right back over to Canva. And so now I am back on Canva. I can leave this alone here if I want to. I always like to leave it alone until I know everything looks good. So I'm just going to go ahead, come down, and where it says Add Page, I'm just going to add another page. And so from here, this is where I'm going to pull up the design that I just saved. So to do this, you're going to go over to the tabs on the left, and if you go to the tab that says Uploads, this is where you can upload anything that you want to use on Canva. So really cool if you've got other designs, photos, anything that you like that you want to be able to use, even your own photos, you can upload them right here. So I'm going to click on Uploads. I'm going to click Upload Files. It'll pull up my downloads. And then I'm just going to go ahead and click what I just downloaded, and it will start right here downloading it. It usually just takes a second, and you'll see this little circle start filling up. Once it's totally full, it means that the design is ready. And then all you have to do is you can double click on it, or you can click and drag. Either way, it's going to put it right here on your page. And so now here's what I got. It's okay to be different. And if you wanted to see it, a comparison between that and what I had up here, oops, got two of them. You can see right there sort of the comparison between just straight and curved. And the curved obviously looks pretty cool. I definitely like the curved better. So we'll come down here with that curve. And so now what I want to do is I'm going to give it a little bit of a shadow, maybe a little bit of an outline. So different ways that I could go about doing this depending on whether I just want the shadow or I want the outline, if I want it to be a dark outline or a light outline. This is where it helps to know whether or not you really want to put it on a light colored shirt or a dark colored shirt. I'm going to give you a little advice here. When we do this rainbow text, it's hard to put it on different color shirts sometimes, because like if I selected blue, some of these letters would wash out and you wouldn't be able to see them very well. Same thing if I was to select yellow or if I was to select green. You know, the problem with using all the colors in the rainbow is that now if I put it on a shirt that matches any of these colors, you're going to lose the letters. So this style would typically look best on either black or on white. But you can definitely get away with using it on different colors if we do a little bit of an outline and a shadow just to make it pop. And so what I'm going to do is click on this. It is now, by the way, an image since I downloaded it. And so I can use photo effects on it. So I can come up to Edit Image, click there. And then here we've got all of our different effects that I can use. For this one, I'm going to go to where it says shadows, and let's go ahead. We're going to use a glow and we're going to use a drop. So let's start with the glow because that's going to give me my outline. And you're going to see three little lines pop up. That's your controls. Click there. It's going to open up your controls. From here, you're going to be able to select your color, your transparency, size, all of that. I don't want any blur. And I don't want any transparency. Neither of those things will print very well on fabric. So what I want to do is go ahead and select the color. Now I can use white, and you can see how white is going to look. And that's cool. It might not, you know, it won't show up on a white shirt, but it will definitely help these pop on a darker shirt. And so that's one way you can go. You can select an individual color if you wanted to, like the blue or the green. You could also select maybe a color that isn't on there. Sometimes some of like the tans or browns, depending on if you're going for like that 70s look. I'm going to go with white because I do like to, you know, like I said, optimize for a black shirt. And then up here is where you can pick your size. So I can make it, you know, obviously really pop like that. So if I wanted it to have a really wide outline, I could do it that way. Or if I wanted it to just have a really narrow outline, I could come down here and do it this way. So for this one, I do want the outline to be pretty thin because I'm also going to go ahead and put a shadow on this. So I'm going to go ahead and apply at, well, it's a size 5. I click apply. It does take a second or two for it to finalize, but it will, and it'll crop it down too. And so right now it looks a little kind of grainy, but again, it's not totally done finalizing yet. So it'll smooth out if you wait, you know, a few seconds. Sometimes it's a little bit longer. There it is. So that was pretty small. You can't quite see it. If you go too small, no worries. You can stack these. So if you want to stack another outline around it, you can keep stacking until you get it the right thickness. You can't take away though. So if you wanted to take away, you just have to start over. So sometimes it's easier to start small and stack than to put too much and have to start over. So depending on kind of how it goes. I'm going to go ahead and bring this out so I can see. So that might be a little too thin because I'm not quite seeing it around the top the way I want to. So I'm going to go ahead and maybe do that one more time, make it a little bit thicker. I don't want it to be too thick. I am going to put a drop shadow down and to the right. So I just want to make sure that the line is thick enough that I can kind of see it up to the top and to the left. But without it being so thick that I lose this gap here. So if you go too thick, that's just going to entirely fill up with white. So maybe I put another 5 on top of the 5 that I just had. That'll bring it up to a 10. And from here, I can kind of see some of that white around the edges. So I'm just going to leave it like that. I'm going to give it a second to finalize, and then we're going to go ahead and maybe throw a drop shadow on it. And the drop shadow, again, I could do something light, I could do something dark, depends how I want to go. If I want it to just be, again, on the black shirt, I could do a white drop shadow. So let's go ahead and put drop. You can see here when I do drop, I can select bottom right, which is what I usually do, but you can, you know, move that drop shadow anywhere you want. Offset, I'm usually going to be 1 or 2 because the offset is pretty big. I'm not going to change the angle. I definitely don't want any transparency. Don't really want any blur. I'm going to go ahead and show you with a white how that would look. So that would be your drop shadow in white. So the white is, you know, it's white, it's bright. And again, I can change colors here. So now if I wanted to do a drop shadow and maybe I want it to be a little bit more gray, so I could do it something like that. So it doesn't have to be entirely white. I could make it so that it's just, you know, different colors. I can make it so it's more of a really dark gray. So it'll pop just a little bit on a dark shirt, but it would definitely pop a lot on a white shirt. So that's how it would look on a dark shirt if I was to change the background color of my shirt here by coming up to background color and maybe selecting a white backdrop. Now you could see how it might look on a white shirt. So this would look good on a white shirt now, and it would look okay on a black shirt. And if I was to change it now to different colors, let's say I put purple, you can see that adding that shadow and that little outline allows every letter to be seen okay, even if I put it on different color shirts. But you want this to be pretty subtle because you still want it to be easy to read. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to black. Oops, there we go. And now this is cool just how it is. You could definitely do it this way. I want to add a little bit more of a flair to it, make it a little different. Now sometimes with these groovy designs, what you'll see is some flowers being added, groovy flowers, peace signs, smiley faces, all different ways that you could go with making it fun and adding a little bit more flourish to it. I think I might try something like a rainbow, just to be a little bit different so that it's, you know, stands out a little bit more amongst some of the other ones. So from here, I'm going to go ahead and we can search our elements. So over to the left, we've got our different tabs. I can search elements and I can do an element search. I'm going to go ahead and put rainbow and see what comes up. I'm going to be looking at graphics, so I can put see all. And then I can just scroll down some of these and see if I find any rainbows that look cool. And so just starting right at the beginning with this first one, like for example, here's a rainbow that I could use. Not super fond of the colors, they're kind of muted. I could do some editing effects on it, but I bet I could find a different rainbow. So again, lots of different ways we can go. Here's another rainbow. This one I could change the colors on so I could have it match this a little bit better if I wanted to. So again, you can play, see if you find anything good. I do kind of like this one. So this one's nice and bright. It's got the little white fluffy clouds to it. I could make it fill the whole page. Something like that. If it's something like that there. So that's one way I can go. Now let's say I want, obviously, the text to be in front of the rainbow. I need to send the rainbow to back. Now every so often Canva changes the layout and the way that their controls work. And so it used to be that I could right click and there would be something here that would say send to back. And now it no longer does that. Now if you want to send to back, you have to click on it, come to the top where it says position. And then usually you could go ahead, here you go, and put backwards. And so I can send to back that way. So some of their controls changed, their grouping control changed, their send to back changed. So you might have to play with it if you're used to Canva and you're noticing that your controls are no longer where they used to be. There have definitely been some changes going on. So now I can play with the way this rainbow falls. I could put it down low or up high. I could have it come out the top here. So just different ways to go about this. Again, I could have chosen to make this shadow more black, because on top of the rainbow, the black might actually stand out better than the gray. The gray looked okay on the, obviously on the black shirt, but I'm not going to spend too much time on this, just so that you can see. There we go, centered. Here is my rainbow. Here is my it's okay to be different. I'm going to center that. And there you go. Again, if I wanted to throw a little flower on here or something, I could. You can always search your elements here. Groovy is a good one to search for. So is like 70s. Those will all give you sort of the groovy flowers, and you can change the colors on several of these flowers too to get sort of that groovy look. So that is one way to go if you're going for the groovy look. But I'm going to go ahead and just stick with it like this. I have it titled up here, It's Okay to Be Different. I'm going to go ahead and put rainbow just so I know this is my rainbow version. And then from here, I am going to download it. So I'm going to go to Save, Download. It's still a PNG. I still need it to be a transparent background. Now I've got 2 pages because I kept the original version. So I do just want page 2. So from here, you can unclick page 1. You just want page 2 to be selected. So done. And then click download, and your design is now ready to be put on shirts, mugs, posters, whatever print on demand thing you want. This one might look good on a sticker as well. So lots of fun ways we can go with print on demand. Obviously, it's not just t-shirts. So that is it for this particular video. If you have any questions about this, go ahead, drop it in the comment section below. I'll try to get back to you as quickly as I can. I hope you guys are doing well. Q1 is almost over, so I hope you've had some really good Q1 sales and are starting to look ahead at Q2. That's it for today's video. If you found this useful and would like to see more videos with helpful tips and tricks, be sure to hit like and subscribe and turn on your notifications so you don't miss any of the weekly videos. As always, keep growing and stay creative, and we'll see you next time.